I was requested on how you do a practical practice strategy to go from not being able to improvise to being an improv fiend quickly. So the idea here is I'm going to give you some basic strategies and basic methods on how you can become amazing at improvisation. I want to throw out some disclaimers before we get into it. The first is this is not for complete beginners. If you don't know how to play your instrument yet, I would highly recommend you either go to a teacher or you pick some basic resources on the internet, stuff like scales, pick some easy songs to learn. Just find some avenue to get into music. That could be ear, that could be by rote, meaning just copying what someone else is doing, or that could be by reading. Doesn't particularly matter, but you need some in to music before you can really access this information that I want to throw your way. Now, of course, it's going to take you time if you really want to get great at improv. But the cool thing about this is this gives you some specifics you can latch onto, which I think is a lot of people's issue with improvisation. They lack those specifics, and so it becomes this really daunting task. Feel free to make adjustments to this too. You don't have to be locked in and try to do these things exactly how I present them. Now, let's set some goals. Our main goal is to become much more comfortable with how to improvise and incorporating improvisation into our practice. The other big thing specifically with piano is going to be separating our hands out, having hand independence. This works differently for other instruments, like a specific goal on guitar might be actually the opposite of hand independence. It is having the hands work together so that your picking and your fretting are working really well together. Drums might be hand independence, but again, go down those rabbit holes with those instruments. For now, we're talking piano, so we're going to focus on piano. All right. With all of that preamble out of the way, let's get into the meat and potatoes of today, and that is these two different exercises. I want to give you two different ways to work on improv that you can add into your practice routine right now and make huge progress. The first is one of my favorites, and it is we're going to choose 4 numbers. That's the first step. Well, actually, sorry. Let's back up one. The first step is to pick a key. So for our case, we're just going to use C major because we're on piano. It makes it easy, just all white keys. And we have scale degrees. I'm not going to go into this very much because, again, this is not for beginners. But to give you an idea, every note on the scale is a scale degree. So C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, so on. Each of these create a chord. 1 would be C major, 2 would be D minor, 3 would be E minor. If that's confusing to you, again, that's your sign to bow out of this video. Go check out other things, or you can leave some questions and comments, and then maybe I will make videos addressing those specific things. But this is the baseline knowledge we need to know before you can get into this level of improvisation. So we have our scale, we have scale degrees. We're going to choose 4 numbers now. These 4 numbers could be anything. Today I'm going to choose 3, 2, 6, 5. So we're going to play those scale degree chords. 3, 2, 6, 5. 3, 2, 6, 5. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take them and put them in our left hand. 3, 2, 6, 5. And we're going to play whatever notes we want in our right hand. And we'll just do this over free time. Doesn't matter. We're just going to play the chords and then mess around. Any white keys do. If you need more direction than that, you can start with the root notes in the right hand. So E, then D, then A, then G. And then start branching out from there. Once you get comfortable, why don't you start adding a sense of time to it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All right. That is exercise number 1. It is super helpful to developing this ability to be able to play chords and then improvise over them and make that connection between chords and scales. That's one of those theoretical concepts that's really powerful, is chords plus scales. They go hand in hand and really develop this bedrock that we then improvise over. I want to get into the second exercise, and that is going to be based around pentatonic scales. Penta means 5, and that's how many notes are going to be in these scales. Again, if this is too confusing to you, go check out something else and then come back to this video. So we have A pentatonic. That's what we're going to choose today, and we're going to have A, C, D, E, G for minor, and A, B, C sharp, E, F sharp. So 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and then 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Again, goes too fast, you can also slow down the video. The left hand, we're just going to start by just playing one note, and that is A. And then we're just going to improvise over the top of that, doing minor then major or major then minor, doesn't matter. Cool thing about this, it's all going to sound great. The first exercise, we can get some things that sometimes will rub us the wrong way, and we're like, ugh, that doesn't sound very good. This, everything is going to be awesome sounding. A couple things that you can try out. Just pick 3 notes, E, G, A, and then do the major equivalent, E, F sharp, A, and then go back and forth with just those 3 notes. Makes it a little easier, makes it easier to digest. Then pick 3 others. Now when it starts to get easier, then start doing an octave in the left hand back and forth. Then start turning it into more of a bass line. All right, you get the general idea. Now, how do we apply these exercises? Because you might be going along with me so far. You're like, okay, this is cool. This is a very practical way that I can get into improvisation, and that is all amazing. But how do I take this information and actually turn it into something useful on top of songs or things I come up with? And here's how you can use it. The first exercise is really dwelling on diatonic composition, meaning things that are written over one key and just stay in one key. And guess what? That is most pop music, and in reality, that's just most music is written diatonically, meaning just staying in one key. And even if it changes keys, then it changes, and then guess what? That's new stuff is in the new key, and you're just there. But I'm getting way too complicated about this. If you substitute the first step of picking 4 chords with just picking 4 chords that already exist in the song, so for example, if we're on Don't Stop Believing, 1, 5, 6, 4, we're in E major. Now I'll just improvise over the top of that. That actually goes for 3 here. You get the idea. So that is how you apply it over pop songs, and you get used to that. The other exercise lets you also get a different method of practice that gives you a little more variety, because maybe you want a little more of a soulful sound, a little more blues. That's where you can add in this extra element here. So then you have this minor pentatonic, and then you change it to major. And it gives you all this different variety. So Now, where does that lead us to? It leads us to this place where we have these different levels and different tools that are practical that we can get into. What are some extra practical steps after this point? Well, you can up the difficulty and you can try different patterns both with your left hand and your right hand, and you can add in more notes, but we can get into that in a different video. I just wanted to give you a practical place to start. I hope this was helpful. If anything was confusing, leave a comment below and I'm happy to address it. I'm Robert Monroe. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, like, follow, subscribe, and I will hit you guys up later. Thanks so much.